Black excellence is not just one thing, but a number of things. Being comfortable in your own skin and trailblazing in the field in which you do. Black history, and knowing it and understanding and learning it and wanting to be a part of it, you want to help the next generation coming up.
Helping to educate and to show that we can be prideful, that we can be proud of who we are. Being pro-Black, being about yourself, being the person that you are, doesn't mean you're not pro everybody else.
Our expression is not limited to only athletic ability, but it's also can be shown in our art. It can be shown of the way we drive culture, putting the world on notice that there are Black components in Black history and Black culture tied to their favorite player, their favorite team, that this is built by Black people and for everyone.
And to roll out this Black Excellence program and Time Capsule project on top of it, it's inspiring. And hopefully it's something that teams around the Bay and around the league take notice of and try to replicate and kind of create awareness for their communities.
A collection that is specifically focused around Black people, the Black experience here at the organization and nationwide. And, we had several conversations about what it would look like, what would the messaging be. And we just decided Black excellence, it has to be Black excellence. And we wanted to bring about something that just spoke joy, that spoke love and just excellence all around. And we'll be able to share all of that with the organization, with the fans, both near and far. So they'll be able to wear this collection with pride.
Today's live stream is being brought to you by Clarity Media. Support the San Francisco Dreamkeeper Initiative, recognizing and investing in the diverse Black and African American communities of San Francisco with a wide range of programs to support youth, families, seniors, and members of the Black LGBTQ+ communities. Dreamkeeper San Francisco is fostering hope for generations of Black people to feel free to dream boldly. Visit dreamkeepersf.org today.
He looks at the law from the bottom up. He rules on the law from a position of great power. In a wide range of cases, he made landmark decisions that affected millions. But when Thelton Henderson overturned a voter initiative that banned affirmative action in California, his legitimacy as a judge was challenged.
Because he personally lived through the consequences of lawlessness in the name of law, he is much more likely to make fair and just and informed decisions based on real life experiences.
In the face of brutality, Thelton Henderson still believed in the law, but was determined to make it mean equal justice for all. Throughout his life, he was often the first or only Black man in a very white world. His journey has been one with few role models and no roadmap from the beginning of his days.
If you'd like to be a guest or suggest show ideas, drop us an email or a direct message. We'd love to hear from you. Clarity Media, human stories, grassroots solutions. Subscribe, like, follow, and share. The Bay Area Mental Health Hour, Clarity Conversations, and We the People. Building trust for the first time. Out of chaos comes clarity. Clarity Media.
like a spotlight. Just winning, media life spinning, media life spinning.
Tune in weekdays to the Bay Area Mental Health Hour on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. You'll find us covering issues surrounding your everyday coping skills and your mental health and wellness. And remember, your mental health matters as much as your physical health.
That's Hillbro. 3 words with so much meaning and the life's work of one man creating space for Black men to discuss their mental health. Now, before we get into this conversation, I have to let you know we are going to be tackling some very tough topics. So if you do have little ones around in the room, this story might be a lot. All right. So that now would be a good time to have them leave the room if that's the case. Here's my interview with family therapist Jay Burnett. When you think about mental health, what does that mean to you now versus when you first learned that this was even a thing?
Of course, early on, we think about mental health, you think about, crazy people. And growing up in the Black community, when you heard someone having mental health issues, you thought about somebody having a mental health breakdown or a nervous breakdown is what they call it. And I grew up in the South where they call depression, you had the blues. Now I see mental health just really life in motion.
Describe a time for you when you knew you needed to seek some mental health, some therapy for any mental health issues.
Gosh. So, let me take a deep breath on this one. 10 years ago, I attempted suicide the second time. And my godmother found me underneath the bed. And one of the misconceptions that people have about people who struggle with suicide and have suicidal thoughts or suicidal ideation, the clinical term is they think that they're wanting to end their life, but they're just wanting to end the pain.
What do you think is the most common misconception about mental health?
We look at people in high places and we look at people who have acquired stuff and we say they have everything. But on the back end of that, we never know what they're fighting with internally.
You talk about depression and many of the things that kind of led to you knowing that you needed to try to get some kind of help, talk to someone. How do you get a person to realize that?
For most people, it's acknowledging that they need help, and that's hard, and particularly for men and men of color, because there's this notion that you have to be strong. When men take their lives, it's usually because there's a lack of hope and they don't see their way out. But I think there's a level of abandonment that we're experiencing as Black men. How do you expect somebody to want to live if they have not been embraced? So you don't feel, well, what is the purpose of being here? Do you even want me here? Demand outweighs the solution because there's not enough Black male therapists to connect with the Black boys. I just want Black men to know that their lives are valuable and that you don't have to end your life.
Now, the goal of this series is to not just give you the problems, but also offer some solutions while we're having these conversations. There's, of course, the National Suicide and Crisis Hotline. If you aren't familiar with that, it's on your screen as well. But locally, we want to highlight Mental Health America of Greater Dallas. They've been doing work across DFW for more than 60 years. Next week, I sit down with 2 entrepreneurs addressing the idea of expectations versus reality and why it can be so hard to ask for help. In the meantime, you can watch Jay and I's conversation on WFAA.com/Black Mental Health.
Give him some Metamucil, man. Give him some Centrum Silver. We both getting our doctors, so this is what we do all day. Grumpy Eddie here didn't want to respond back to my text message.
Oh, really?
Nah.
Tell me how the friendship started.
Oh my God. I would text him, he wouldn't text me back. And he would, leave me on red for days. We kind of know how guys are not as friendly and guys are not as open, when it comes to meeting friends, especially after 40. And it can be very difficult for men. And even studies show that men have a difficult time making friends after 35.
What was happening when he was reaching out? We can say we were busy, but tell me what was going on.
I wasn't sure. A small circle of friends, and I could tell right out that he wanted friendship. Okay, and I didn't know if I was prepared to give that, and I didn't want to give that being wounded. My heart as a man, at my age now, I don't have time to get to know somebody and it's not what it is, and because I'm a very transparent, very vulnerable person, and when I love hard, and I just did not want to get into that, and so I was not sizing him up. I was more so taking care of me, making sure that I didn't invite something into my life that I wasn't ready for, because I don't know, when I finally responded, what did I say? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, your famous emoji, the muscle flex. That was it, the muscle flex. It was one of those things that we as men, we're so closed off at times, because when men get hurt, it really changes our function in life.
Hold on, let me ask you this real quick. You're the oldest.
I'm the oldest.
Yeah, he's old.
No, I knew that. I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you. I want you to talk about the importance for Black men to have community, and how do they navigate those situations as it relates to finding friends at an older age?
You know, the community is so important for Black men because it provides a sense of belonging. And I think for Black men, it's so important because so many Black men feel ostracized, by society. And if you feel ostracized, you feel you don't have a place that will accept you, a place where you fit. And when you don't feel like you fit, you're going to operate as a misfit. And it's so important for brothers to have community, because the worst place a man can be left is left alone with his thoughts and feel that no one cares. Community provides hope. Most men who die by suicide, it's normally in their cars, they're by themselves. It's normally in a space where they're secluded because they feel like all hope is gone.
I think that what he's saying is so powerful, because as I've grown, I've always had a circle, but that circle didn't create the culture that was needed for me to actually be a contributor to society. So being in a circle that makes you think that being this way, that's not good, is okay, that's not the circle, because you're still going to be alone when pressure and problem comes, or you're going to get the worst advice. Community is being able to have a safe space where we have a correction culture, where we have culture to fix what's been broken, and it's okay for you to tell me what's broken, and it's okay for you to not feel offended that I'm telling you this needs to be worked on, brother.
And there's a truism that you got to give something to get something. And part of me is whenever I go into friendships, I go into them based off what do I bring to them? What can I give to them rather than what can I get from it?
How do we get to the people that are just like, look, I ain't trying to hear nothing you talking about. These been my friends. These been my homies since back when. I ain't trying to expand the circle. How do you get through or have conversations with those individuals?
It's not about expanding your circle. It's about checking the circle so that when you are living in a place that if it's embarrassing, you feel lower than the gutter. Can you tell that to that circle? Does that circle have the necessary tools to help love you through the worst season of your life? Or all you getting is, hey, I got your back. That's not your circle.
It's baffling to see how many Black men are unable to smile.
All right.
Because it's not something that they have against you, but it's a lot of suppressed emotions, anger, unresolved trauma, unresolved issues. And you have a circle that can allow you to unpack that.
Let me tell you something, that hardness and the absence of the softness created for me an inability to be soft for my children, for my spouse. So an ongoing, evolving issue for me is learning how to give what I never got. And so that created space with my children. And I'm blessed with some beautiful children that are allowing dad to still work out all of this trash. But for the man that thinks it's got to be like this all the time, nah. In the end, no doctor treats you with this. No nurse treats you with this. No good speaker makes an impact with that. It's the soft touch. It's the gentle touch that massages away problems and understands and listens and loves and talks and helps guide you through it. So that's what I would say to that guy. Give it a shot. You're not weak for being soft. You really show how strong you are.
I think it's important for brothers to know that it is a risk. Friendships are risks. They're like relationships. You may take a risk and it may not work out. It is okay. And if it doesn't work out, I want the brothers to know that I still believe that community is the best form of coping for men.
Today's live stream is being brought to you by Clarity Media. Support the San Francisco Dreamkeeper Initiative, recognizing and investing in the diverse Black and African American communities of San Francisco with a wide range of programs to support youth, families, seniors, and members of the Black LGBTQ+ communities. Dreamkeeper San Francisco is fostering hope for generations of Black people to feel free to dream boldly. Visit dreamkeepersf.org today.
If I gave you my heart, would you take care of it? Could you take care of it?
Miggity.
If I gave you my soul,
Free your mind.
could you be there for me? If love brought you deep in love with you, say you
Miggity.
promise you care for me.
On love. Yeah, look, you be trying to read my emojis and then you hold face. I just want you to fall back and then hold space. You be telling me you can't do it, but God give me grace. It's hella complex underneath, so use the interface. Who knew that we was in the race to see better days? The process to find ways got me in a maze. So many life choices could have put me in a grave, but instead that pressure make diamonds and it made me great. You ain't gotta see my value, still valuable. The turtle really in the race, gotta take it slow. Activating the tempo is my real goal. Every step that I take, know that it's in soul. I use my words to express my feelings. I still know communication more than lyricism. It's all up in the way I act, the way I acrobat. Flip through all these situations that got my mind intact. Systematically, I don't feel support. If you ain't with me, baby, then I abort. You ain't a champion if you a poor sport. Even when they thought that I would cave in, I held torch. Yeah, Olympian, how I'm still in every sport. Rucker Park or the Garden is still home court. In every habitat, yep, I'm in my habitat. Any way you wanna go with it, we can handle that. I'm from the Yara, my ism all up in alignment. They try to figure out my swag, but you can't define it. I'ma climb up no matter what the climate. You don't kill people, you heal people with kindness. So I don't listen to the superstition. Yeah, they superficial, I'm super efficient. I never need the eyes, I still see the vision. Trusting your intuition, yeah, I gotta feel it. Yeah, it's like a spidey sense. But this is real life, not coincidence. I feel a type of way about a couple incidents. That's when I'm moving increments and light some incense. Can't throw off my vibe, I am a vibe. Always got a chance if we alive. Yeah, you ain't an OG, you just survived. I ain't fishing the wisdom in my heart on the line. Miggity.
If I gave you my heart, would you take care of it? Could you take care of it? If I gave you my soul, would you be there for me?
Tune in weekdays to the Bay Area Mental Health Hour on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. You'll find us covering issues surrounding your everyday coping skills and your mental health and wellness. And remember, your mental health matters as much as your physical health.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I'm the founder of Taylor J Collection. We are a women's contemporary clothing brand located right here in Oakland, California. The journey of a woman comes with many changes, and that's why we are very intentional about all of our designs and collections. We make sure to provide elevated comfort, sustainability, versatility, and of course, style. If you're in the Bay Area, Come by, say hi, and take some comfy pieces home to add to your closet. Shop with us online at taylorjcollection.com.
Heart of San Francisco, a city celebrated for its vibrant history and diverse culture, stands a street that bears the name of a remarkable individual, Dr. Carlton B. Goodlett, a man whose legacy is enduring as the city's iconic landmarks. Carlton B. Goodlett was not just a man of intellect, but of action. His journey began far from the streets of San Francisco. An academic prodigy, Goodlett excelled his studies, earning a PhD in child psychology.
His pursuit of knowledge led him to San Francisco, a city that would become the canvas for his vast contribution.
The city was a very different place when Dr. Goodlett was around, and you would see him on streets like Divisadero, Fillmore, doing what he did. He also administered health care to people who did not have insurance or an ability to pay for it. Dr. Goodlett worked very hard around City Hall, meaning he would load buses with people and they would go to San Francisco State mainly, other places as well, and protest the unjust treatment and unfairness of their systems.
Dr. Goodlett emerged as a civil rights activist. He was the local branch of the NAACP. He protested the city's discrimination against Blacks in public transportation, public housing improvements, and won the newspaper Sun Reporter.
Most of the people that come into the building today do not know who he was. They do not know that not only was he a physician, an activist, but also an incredible card player in his spare time. And he won a newspaper that he published, and he also edited another newspaper as well. Willie Brown and Dr. Goodlett had a very close relationship. In the early 90s, several groups got together to honor Dr. Goodlett, and they put together petitions. They worked very, very hard to have the official address changed. Dr. King's day of celebration is in January, so I got a call from Mayor Brown, who I've known for many, many years, saying, I need you to help me change a street sign. I thought, this is remarkable, but okay. In January of 1999, right after the building reopened, Mayor Brown and I went outside. At that moment, it was still Polk Street, and we took down the word on the sign that read Polk, and we put up the sign that said, number 1, Dr. Carlton B. Goodlett Place. I think that he earned a certain place in respect of all people. He was just a remarkable individual. Unfortunately, he did not live long enough here to see the street sign changed.
Clarity Media here in San Francisco at San Francisco City Hall to support and rally for the Dreamkeeper Initiative funding. Today, Dr. Silas.
I'm here in support of Mega Black SF, as we are very clear in our united power that the Dreamkeeper Initiative not only has to remain and be sustained, but needs to be absolutely expanded. It cannot be even within the remote mind of being cut in any way. So we're at City Hall, and we're turning our attention to each supervisor and appealing to them with a very clear message.
So are you saying that the Dreamkeeper funding has been cut?
No, what I'm saying is that, and that's a fantastic question, because even as I say that, I realize any given day now that could be the case. There is a question mark in the minds of some folk in elected positions here in San Francisco that because there are larger city cuts, Dreamkeeper Initiative might be one of the places that they consider. It cannot be. You cannot open the floodgates of wellness and support and cultural wealth to a people that have been denigrated for 400 years, crawled out of the ashes of our own suffering to dare imagine hope for the first time in this city and cut it.
Yeah, that sounds like a real problem. So right? I can imagine why you and the group Mega Black are here today. That's I will say that I'm part of the group as well.
Yes,
and I am funded by the Dreamkeeper Initiative. Yes. I'm able to tell these stories and allow you and the other voices to be heard through the funding. So I'm with you on that support. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and to explain to my audience what's really going on.
Absolutely. And thank you for the work that you do. You know, it's our stories, it's our voice that needs to be centered. And having amazing consciousness like yours that allows the Black voice to be centered, not in a fragmented way, but as a united voice. We are cohesive, united, and we're not going back. Thank you.
Thank you.
How you doing, girl? Good to see you. Congratulations.
Hello. You can pray until you faint. But if you don't get up and try to do something like gather, like we are here today, God is not going to put it in your hands.
Start it out.
Right?
Since the inception of the initiative, hundreds of new businesses have launched, dozens of homes have been purchased, families have been stabilized, and Black joy has been prioritized. The Dream Keeper Initiative is a response to a point in time that addresses past harm and supports
the future. The impoverished sharecropper is also from the same state of Mississippi as my grandparents. And just so y'all know.
It's locked. That's not supposed to be happening.
Right in the middle.
Thank you for sitting with us. Bye. Thank you. Thank you.
this little light of mine. Oh, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Right? No cuts to the Dream Keeper Initiative.
Yes. Can we just
Supervisor Connie Chan.
keep that Dream Keeper going?
I would love to see more of you because I'm grateful for you to walk this hall, even though this hall, time and time again, has not been with you.
Thank you.
I'm grateful for your work because you didn't just speak for yourself, you speak for the whole community in San Francisco, saying that we need to keep this going. Without your advocacy, sometimes I think that the community is just being left behind.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking your time. Thank you so much for making this happen. I'm grateful that you're here. I've been with you since day one, and we're gonna continue with this in solidarity. Thank you.
So tell me why you're here today.
We're here part of Mega Black San Francisco, and we're fighting for visibility, sovereignty, and the divinity of Black San Franciscans. There are too many statistics that disproportionately affect African Americans in terms of the homelessness population, overdose population, people in mental crises. So being able to have a space to advocate for a baseline for the Dream Keeper Initiative, which directly applies to Black San Franciscans and uplifts the entire community, is one of the things that we're here to promote today, as well as departmental accountability from our city agencies in terms of subcontracting and contracting with non-governmental organizations.
And so what are some of those problems that the department heads in particular need to know about? Can you tell the audience specifically what some of the problems you've seen with the departments in particular?
Yeah, I think that it's really interesting because there's a baseline understanding that Black Americans are affected at a disproportionate rate within San Francisco for mental health crises, overdose crises, and that's a baseline, and they have a commitment to be able to prioritize the Black community, but that's not reflected in the data that they're doing, and that's not reflected in the actual programs that they're funding. If you are prioritizing the Black community, why aren't you putting dollars, why aren't you sectioning a portion of your budget to be able to support the people that need it most, that are the most directly impacted by things that your organization, your agency is designed to be able to protect and provide resources for? That's why we're here.
Yeah, so you want them to put their money where their mouths are.
Exactly. And we're here in numbers to be able to show that we care about this issue and we're watching. As Mega Black, we are a megalith. We are more than just the individual person that sees something in their day-to-day. We are a collective of Black San Francisco that is advocating for what affects us, not only us, but things that we've seen in the community, and defending what we know is right and justice for all.
I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
We are here as Black San Franciscans, Black people who care about San Francisco and the economic welfare of Black San Franciscans to support the Dream Keepers Initiative, DKI funds.
And the DKI funding has helped you how?
Well, I run a theater company, ADVOCACY, San Francisco Bay Area Theater Company, and we employ several BIPOC African-American artists, people who support the Bay Area, people who live in San Francisco. That funding keeps Black San Franciscans here, makes us feel like we're valued, like we care, like they care about us. You see why there's like a percentage of less than Black people in the city? Like 2, 3, 4%, we're like a little nothing statistic, like an ant on a scale. These Dreamkeepers initiative funds support balancing that scale for Black San Franciscans.
And so you're saying that the Dreamkeeper funding has helped your organization specifically? Like, give us a real fine, detailed experience that has made a difference for your organization.
Absolutely. I run a festival each year, and we employ over 60 to 70 Black and BIPOC artists in San Francisco. And the Dreamkeepers Initiative funded all of those artists. That's over $150,000 paying artists to be artists and work in the theater field in San Francisco. Those are direct dollars and resources that come through our nonprofit, almost 10-year-old theater company that is paying the community of artists here in San Francisco, showing them that we care about them, showing them that they're valued. These Dreamkeepers dollars are not just a drop in the bucket. They are showing us that we're valued as Black people, people with dark skin in San Francisco. We have this bad narrative. The news talks about us bad, looks at us bad. And we have to change that perception, the narrative of it. And these Dreamkeepers dollars through OEWD, through SFAC, through DCYF, through HRC are all supporting Black San Franciscans.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Alicia Mayo at San Francisco City Hall, representing the Dreamkeeper Narrative Shift and Storytelling Cohort.
If you'd like to be a guest or suggest show ideas, drop us an email or a direct message. We'd love to hear from you. Clarity Media, human stories, grassroots solutions. Subscribe, like, follow, and share. The Bay Area Mental Health Hour, Clarity Conversations, and We the People. Building trust for the first time. Out of chaos comes clarity. Clarity Media.
Rock with a few, drip lit like a spot. Just winning, media life spinning, media life spinning.
For February, Bay Area Bountiful celebrates Black History Month with local leaders who are making history.
Working this way and working with one's body and tending the land.
Wool is magic. As far as I'm concerned, wool gets more magic the more I learn about it.
Eating good food, I learned early on, makes people happy. I think I'm on a quest to make as many people happy as possible.
Our youth really care about the climate crisis.
Kelp forests are some of the most productive marine ecosystems on the planet.
I want this to be what I leave behind. I want this to be the mark that I make on the world.
Bay Area Bountiful is made possible in part by Rocky the free-range chicken and Rosie the original organic chicken. The Sonoma County Agricultural Preservation and Open Space District, Made Local Magazine, and Sonoma County Go Local. And through the generous support of Sonoma Water. Cultivate, celebrate, connect.
Cascade Ranch is a 418-acre farm just north of the Pie Ranch in the ancestral homeland of the Ama Mutsun tribal band. Under the leadership of Leonard Diggs, the Cascade Regenerator Program plans to create a regenerative landscape where a multiracial group of farmers, ranchers, and land stewards will have access to the resources needed to help feed communities throughout the Bay Area.
This is the home of the Ama Mutsun tribe, and they inhabited this zone from here all the way through up to Santa Cruz, and they still have a strong relationship with the land here. We also have a relationship with them. As part of Pie Ranch, we've had a memorandum of understanding with them for a long time. They've been working on projects at Home Pie. And here, their main foods before first contact were grasses. All the trees in the coastal mountain zones that we have here were not as well established when they were here before first contact. And there was just a grass plains that went all the way down to the ocean. So we're helping support them with that on this property. So we have leased this property with the intention of starting a regenerator program. And so we're trying to pull together a full offering of support for next-gen farmers and ranchers, and also to provide a more diverse group of people access to land. So women, number one, 50% of the people we want on our program will be women. And then people of color and indigenous people. I already explained the relationship that we have with the local tribe that's here. That's a really strong and important relationship that we'll maintain. But all people who have not had access to agricultural land for whatever reason, either because they were disenfranchised or because they just never had it as part of their current culture. I think lots of us grew up in agricultural communities hundreds of years ago, but we've been all pulled apart from those a bit. And for some people that still resonates, and they want to go out and be a part of a food system and specifically grow food, raise animals, and we want to help support that group of people. So it's not enough, as I said, to just provide them land and provide them equipment. What really is needed is to help next-gen farms take care of all of the things that they're going to need to take care of for their community. So we know that climate instability is where we are right now, and that having a system that's climate sensitive, climate friendly farming system is really essential. So many farmers have not established climate friendly farming practices. They've established organic practices, regenerative practices, permacultural practices, and embedded in some of those are practices that are positive for the climate, but not necessarily dead focused on that. So as part of our goals here, we want to make sure that the farming practices get us towards carbon neutral or carbon negative practices. And there are different tools like minimum tillage tools that are out there that we can help introduce them to, and we can also provide them access to. So that's part of the package that we're putting together. So we'd like to shift who has access, who has the ability, the privilege to be able to farm, and shift the power dynamics so that there are people who are in leadership roles and are initiating systems and food systems that are relevant to them in our farming communities, and not have it be as it has been for the last 200 years, where we haven't had a diverse group of people being able to have leadership over the agricultural system and access to the agricultural system, and who are able to profit from it, be able to grow a business from it and grow a lifestyle from it. The tricky part for me, though, in that is I started out by centering on the fact that we've got to farm differently. We've got to farm in a way that's more environmentally sensitive. We've really got to stay focused on the issues around biological diversity. And I don't think that unless that is connected simultaneously with the diverse group of people getting involved in that type of a farming system, so that the diversity of the farming system, of the people involved, and the sustainability of the system go hand in hand. If we have a diverse group of people farming conventionally in the way that we've been farming our lands here for the last 100 years, it's not going to be sufficient. So we've got to be able to create an incentive for this new group of people to farm differently, to take responsibility for some of the environmental issues that have been ignored for the last generation of farming.
Meet Mac McDonald in his family garden in Windsor. The son of a moonshiner, Mac was first introduced to wine at the age of 12. At that young age, he had a vision of becoming a winemaker and has helped a new generation of African American winemakers to envision their own futures in the industry.
I was sitting there one day and I came home and I said to Miss Lil, I said, you know what, honey? I don't ever see any black people in my wine dinners. You know, and I said, that kind of bothered me a little bit. She goes, think about it. When have you, where have you been all this time? She says. I said, I guess I never thought about it, you know, in that sense, but some reason did. So I thought, you know what? There's a few folks that I know that's in the wine business. Maybe we ought to get together and share our experience, because I had been in it longer than them, these other two guys, and I could talk to them about some of the things that I was successful at and some that I wasn't. And I could share that with them and, you know, make them more profitable. Because I think that it's hard for African Americans to get into a lot of business because of the word is used, capital. I don't use that word. I call it money, because if I got money, I can buy stuff. You know what I mean? And so if I could get us together and talk about that, then we all could do a lot better. And that was the basic forming of the association. Take a look at AAAV's, 3 A's, vendors, VINTNERS.org. And you can see all the members. You can see how to apply for a scholarship through the association. You know, they partnered with Napa Valley College and, you know, and the Negro College Fund. And then there's another scholarship that's being set up, another one. So there's 3 different ways that you can get into that. If I'm keeping up with it all right, they may have changed some of it, but there's 3 different ways to do that. Just go to that website, give them a call or email, and if you're interested in doing something like that, they'll tell you how to do it. I love gardening. Gardening is something, by the way, that I use as a tool because I was trying to get more people who look like me to understand growing their own food and growing, you know, growing grapes in the wine business. And so a lot of the folks that I ran across in the inner cities, they didn't want their kids to be learning about wine at an early age. So I thought, you know, what can I do this? So I came up with this wheelbarrow concept. I tried it on our granddaughters first, and they come over, and I'd have them to paint the wheelbarrows different colors, you know, and stuff like that. But I give them all a paintbrush, and then we would put dirt in it and plant certain type of vegetables. And the reason I like that wheelbarrow concept is because you can go to the dump or wherever they call them nowadays, and you can pick up an old wheelbarrow for $3 or $4 and get some soil and put in it. You can grow a lot of stuff in a wheelbarrow. You can rotate and grow a lot of stuff. And then I can go to inner cities and have inner city kids to grow a lot of food right in the backyard or whatever they have one. You don't take that much space. Rotate your crops. Because, you know, you do that a lot in farming. You know, you have to rotate your crop. You know, you just put it in there. Like, I have a row of radishes out here. And it's just amazing how many those things grow out of a package. You can't keep up with them, you know? Or I have white turnips out there, you know, and it's just amazing how many you get out of a $2 package of those white turnips. So as far as the mentoring of the folks in the wine business, yes, there's been a lot of folks call me and talk to me, high profile. Some of them didn't know nothing about wine, didn't know anything about what grapes. And I'd be on the phone with, and still on the phone with people for hours trying to explain to them what they need to do to get started and how to look at it. Some have kind of listened. Theophilus, you know, Theodore Lee, she's an attorney. She's doing really, really well, you know. She's doing really, really well with her wine, you know.
Mac is one of my mentors in this business. So Mac has been a longtime mentor. In fact, I got involved with the Association of African American Vintners because of Mac McDonald and worked with him and helped brainstorm of what the organization could be. He is an incredible winemaker, an incredible person. He and Miss Leo, I've had dinner at their house. They've come to my parties. I have a harvest and bottle release party every year, except for 2020, we did not have it. But the first year, Mac poured wine at my harvest and bottle release party right next to me. So he and Tom, who were my winemakers at the time, we had over 200 people. It was fantastic. So we're hoping that in 2021, we can return to our harvest and bottle release party that we hold in September during harvest. I grew up in Dallas. My parents were educators. My father was a male chauvinist pig, but he had one daughter and one child, and that was me. And so I wanted to ride horses back in the 70s. Little girls didn't throw their legs up on top of a horse and ride. So when I would go to my grandparents' house, they would let the boy cousins ride. And my father said, one day I will buy you your own horse and you don't have to cry. And so about the age of 6 or 7, he bought his first 10 acres of land outside of Dallas. He bought himself a thoroughbred and me a quarter horse who's named Ginger. I learned to ride a horse. In the process of farming, I learned to drive on a tractor at the age of 8. So farming was in my blood. My grandfather was a sharecropper. My father was a weekend farmer. And when I moved to San Francisco to practice law, I had the opportunity to have a mentor who actually owned a vineyard up in Hillsburg, Barbara and Pierre Diodoni. They're still my mentors. And I would drive briefs to their weekend home. And I said, wow, I can really be a grape farmer. Little did I know how expensive land was in California. So that dream was built back in the 80s, but it wasn't until 2001 that I was able to buy 20 acres of land in the Yorkville Highlands, Anderson Valley, Mendocino County. I know what I don't know, but I know good wine when I taste it. And so I have to trust my winemakers or my consulting winemakers because I'm involved in every aspect. I am involved in barrel selection. And as I've said, great wine starts right here in the vineyard. You cannot have great wine without great grapes. You can't take a bad grape and make a great wine. You have to actually farm to make quality fruit in order to make quality wine. And I'm all about quality.
In 2020, Brianna Noble founded Humble, an Oakland-based equine program dedicated to positively impacting youth from disenfranchised communities. Through enriching learning experiences, Humble uses horses as a medium to inspire bright futures.
I've always worked with children, probably since I was about 14 years old. So I always work and ride, and any opportunity I got to work with other organizations as I was younger, because there's definitely been throughout the years, a few organizations that have popped up to try to help the inner city kids around here and get them introduced with horses. They generally don't stand around too long, but I've had my foot into a lot of them that have come up through the Bay Area, and I've always really deeply enjoyed the work that I did with them. I worked for the city of Oakland, and I taught for their horsemanship day camps that they had in Oakland years ago, and just any opportunity I could work with kids. But the problem, hi, Mayor. The problem sort of became as these organizations would rise and fall that, the need is still there. I still want to do the work, but the organizations would disappear. So I just started to do it on my own from there. And that's really how Humble began, is technically I really just got on paper established last year, but Humble has been something that I've worked on for probably the past 5 years. So it really began as something where I would teach for-profit summer camps for the kids. And then just out of my own pocket, at the end of the summer, I would bring in an organization from the Bay Area and just say, hey, let's get a group of 10 kids out and they can come for free and experience what the other kids get to experience. And so I would just do that as I can. And I'm so happy that it's become more than that now. there are horsemen all over the country. And I'm not a really well-traveled equestrian at this point. So I want to make it clear that I'm just speaking to my little area here in Northern California that I've experienced. But there are not very many people that look like me at all. I think all of us know each other. There's very few of us here. So a lot of times I like to tell people it feels like being a white rose in a field of yellow daisies. And sometimes the attention that you get is simply because I'm a white rose. I stand out. You know, I look a little bit different than everyone else. And it's not necessarily a negative thing. But sometimes, a lot of times, it is a very negative thing, you know. So it can be hard just always looking different. And then it can be hard to face some of the blatant racism that you do, because a lot of it can be blatant, you know, or even just like, we're facing hardships here on this property, you know, where we're really looking for a place to call home. And, you know, these people that are white and that do have money don't necessarily like to see us and these families around. You know, they feel threatened by us. So, you know, I've had an instance around here at this facility where we had a complaint to management because a family, a father, a mother, and 4 kids and a dog parked in front of a barn that we had permission to, and one of the owners of a horse in that barn felt threatened. And the excuse that I got when we were told that, yes, this person feels threatened, is because, well, they've had things stolen before. So seeing the Brown family parked around their stuff, even though we have a children's riding program that serves predominantly people of color and you know, youth of that matter, still they felt threatened enough to call management on us and complain, you know. So we definitely it will feel really good to have a space of our own where we aren't bothering people simply because of the color of our skin. Good girl. Having a home for us is going to allow us to dig those roots down in the ground and make sure that this is a program that is here for the next 50 years.
Food insecurity impacts many local families, a crisis that has only gotten worse during the pandemic. The Sonoma County Black Forum has pivoted to address this pressing issue, partnering with other nonprofit organizations, small businesses, and individual volunteers in our community.
Today we are out here gleaning in the Healdsburg Plaza. This food that we're picking today will be going to the Sonoma County Black Forum. They're a nonprofit in the county that feeds families. Farm to Pantry was founded in 2008, and I joined the board in 2015. I was originally born in Mexico. I came over to the States when I was 7 years old. My family has been in Sonoma County for 30 plus years. My uncles, my grandfather, my dad, they're all local farm workers. And, you know, so in that way, I've always seen organizations as the receiver. And now that I'm on the other side where I can actually help provide these services to people in my community, people who look like me, it's very humbling just because I can see my family in every single recipient.
We could not do our food distribution or our youth summit without the support of Farm to Pantry, without the support of Community Foundation, Sonoma County Vintners, Butts, Custom Meat, Napa Sonoma League, Oliver's. I also want to recognize the small donors that we have from the community, anywhere from $5 to $25. So we receive support from our sponsors, but also from the community, which we are so grateful for.
Traditionally, what we do is we have a youth summit every year, and we have other community engagement events. And so what we did was shift this year. We wanted to continue to support our community. And so we put out a survey to ask the community, what do you need right now? And 2 of the largest responses was money for rent and food, and like the third one was mental health support. So what we're trying to do is, again, connect our community members with information about various therapists who are there to support them. We offer that at our meetings. We have a list of therapists of color. We also, again, the food drive is there to meet that need for food, the food insecurity that's going on right now because of COVID. We are not able to address the monetary aspect, but what we decided we could do was the food. Being in Sonoma County, we are in an agricultural county. We thought we'd be able to reach out to community members, and they did respond, and they are giving us the donations we need to provide healthy, organic, and rich foods to our members.
In addition to our food distribution, we're going to have an urban gardening series. It's going to be spearheaded by another board member, Claudia de la Pena, and she's going to try to instruct the community with those who have very little experience with growing their own food, because we feel that this is the time that we have to be independent in terms of where our food comes from and showing people how to do just that.
The first class will be container gardening. So we're going to talk about growing some food in containers and what that looks like and what that will take. We'll talk about soil, we'll talk about watering, what you can successfully grow in containers, and you can grow most anything and almost anything. But the idea is just to get people interested in growing their own food. When we saw the amount of people that were showing up at the food distributions, we kind of thought maybe these are some of the people that we could speak to and teach them how to grow some of their own food. If you can grow your own salad, then you're doing a lot.
Petaluma Blacks for Community Development share Black history and culture within our community through various programs and events throughout the year. This month, their Celebrating Family exhibit can be experienced all over downtown Petaluma.
Our main goal is to share Black history and culture with the community. So this year, because of the pandemic that is happening now, we knew that we were not going to be able to go into the museum to do our exhibit. Plus, we had a lot of killings that were caught on video, and thus a lot of protest afterwards. And so we felt that it was really important for us to include the community in our exhibit for 2021. The theme is the family. We decided to make ours celebrating family and letting it be about celebrating family completely in Petaluma. And so I was talking to another lady, Paige Green, who happens to be a photographer. And Paige said that she would love to take the pictures. And she was thinking at first just Black families. And I said, no, it would need to be the community. This is a way we can help to bring our community together. We decided that 2021 and 2020 was not going to break us. We were going to continue to do what we normally do. So our storefront exhibit and our Black History program, which will be on the 27th at 6:30. It is virtual, but you do have to register in order to participate. So you will need to go onto our website.
I got contacted by a young lady who said that they were doing family photos and, would I like to be part of it? And so I said, yeah, sure, why not? Let's take the picture, let's do it. And she said, yeah, you can have your family, and my wife and son were there, and we did that. And that was that. And I just, in last week, when the picture went up, I had no idea what the picture was. And then I get a text message from a friend, Alethea, who works at Della, and said, hey, check this out. And then she took a snap, and I was like, oh, that's our picture. I was like, oh, where is this? And she's like, it's at Della. I was like, oh, you don't have no idea how it warmed my heart. And so, again, it goes all back to why, I love Petaluma.
Black History Month is a relatively new construct in America, but as we have witnessed, it is a reminder that there is work required of all of us to recognize that Black history is American history. This truth should be honored every month as we explore our shared American history together.
Today's live stream is being brought to you by Clarity Media. Support the San Francisco Dreamkeeper Initiative, recognizing and investing in the diverse Black and African American communities of San Francisco with a wide range of programs to support youth, families, seniors, and members of the Black LGBTQ+ communities. Dreamkeeper San Francisco is fostering hope for generations of Black people to feel free to dream boldly. Visit dreamkeepersf.org today. Tune in weekdays to the Bay Area Mental Health Hour on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. You'll find us covering issues surrounding your everyday coping skills and your mental health and wellness. And remember, your mental health matters as much as your physical health.
The cultural tour, we partnered with Black-owned businesses. We also partnered with a few of our organizations that we work with the Social Justice Committee, who, that's how we were able to, reach the youth here. And I think today is really awesome because we get to show youth, people who look like them, what is possible. We have Black business owners here, and a lot of times kids growing up in these neighborhoods don't see positive examples of people who are successful and that look like them. There's not that many Black-owned businesses, and so youth seeing that and seeing the success, can spark their interest and also give them hope of what reality can look like for them in the future.
So the 49ers and the York family, they made an emphasis from the time I came in to really invest in the community in the Bay Area for Black and Brown communities, and those are other marginalized people. And we came up with a social justice committee, and through that we have a voice in kind of where the money goes, where our time and resources at the organization has made a huge emphasis, and that brings about events like today. So excited to be here, to be a part of this. It's been a long time in the making, and we're seeing real change, real impact, and it goes beyond just playing ball in the field. So excited to be here.
If you'd like to be a guest or suggest show ideas, drop us an email or a direct message. We'd love to hear from you. Clarity Media, human stories, grassroots solutions. Subscribe, like, follow, and share. The Bay Area Mental Health Hour, Clarity Conversations, and We the People. Building trust for the first time. Out of chaos comes clarity. Clarity Media.
Rock with a few, drip lit like a spotlight. Just winning, media life spinning, media life spinning.
Reparations means to me, it's a bill. It's a bill that should be paid for stopping the advancement and the finances of the Black community and bulldozing the Fillmore district. I'm a native San Franciscan. I have relatives in the Fillmore who were displaced. Matter of fact, being that the percent of Black people have gotten lower and lower and lower every year, we're down to 3%. And my family's not here anymore. I'm here because I have low income. They had to move to be able to start their families. They couldn't afford to do it here. There's got to be some kind of equality, some kind of closing of the gap here in San Francisco. African Americans cannot afford housing. People are discriminating against us. And I'm a native, and it's probably just me, I hope. My paranoia, but sometimes I feel like as a native, I'm last on the list here. And it's not right, it's not fair. It's a bill. It's a bill, and I think it's only fair that we get paid the bill, that our education has a chance to catch up with the charter schools, the private schools. We should have private schools, charter schools as well. I grew up here in San Francisco through desegregation. And sometimes when I think back at all the trauma I had to endure, I can't even remember holding a pencil and a piece of paper in class. Literally, I remember the kids coming up and touching my hair, and I remember having to take a bus car to school, and that really upset my mom, but she had no choice. So yeah, that was desegregation. That's about the time the bulldozing started in the 60s. So yeah, we deserve to have a fair chance. We deserve to be able to get our little Mecca back.
Okay, my follow-up question is based on what you've seen from the committees and the plans so far. Do you have a positive opinion, a negative opinion, a neutral opinion? Are they on the right track?
I have. I think it entails a lot, and it's kind of confusing to me and what exactly we're asking for. Besides being paid, we're asking for so many things. How it's all going to play out, we're not exactly sure yet, but this would definitely, what we're doing now on the 19th at the rally, would definitely be the first step to reparation by financing an office to move forward with reparations.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I'm the founder of Taylor J Collection. We are a women's contemporary clothing brand located right here in Oakland, California. The journey of a woman comes with many changes, and that's why we are very intentional about all of our designs and collections. We make sure to provide elevated comfort, sustainability, versatility, and of course, style. If you're in the Bay Area, come by, say hi, and take some comfy pieces home to add to your closet. Shop with us online at taylorjcollection.com.
San Francisco, perhaps America's most liberal city. Its most recent innovation has been to push for reparations. Cash payments for its black citizens to right the historic wrong of slavery.
I fight you for it right now. That's how you get reparations.
Its proponents pushing for $5 million apiece. However, with the city facing an unprecedented rise in homelessness, drug overdoses, and crime, I wanted to find out why local officials were so keen on handing over millions of dollars they can barely afford, and whether America's obsession with race will heal the wounds of time or push an already divided population to the brink. First stop, a black festival celebrating Juneteenth, where city punters gathered to commemorate the end of slavery in America.
Do you think that black people should get reparations for slavery?
Yes, but not necessarily what you think. Do you think of, because you're the one that would have to make a difference. Do you think black people should get reparations for slavery?
Well, I'm British. I'm not.
Y'all was enslaving people in the 1400s. Y'all had our jewels in your crowns. So are you saying British people had nothing to do with slavery?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Is that what you're saying?
No, absolutely not.
So I'm saying, again, that's why I said it's not
to be fair to Britain, I mean, we did abolish the slave trade.
In 1807, thank
1807.
you, the transatlantic slave. But you know what happens when you abolish something? It goes black market.
So do you think I should pay for reparations? Yeah.
Do you think you should pay? It don't matter what I think, because it's up to you if you're going to share the wealth of your forefathers. And then when people say, oh, it was a long time ago, but historically, I have to deal with intergenerational trauma of slavery. You don't. And you as a white man, you get to make the decision if you want to share the wealth that you have pillaged from the world. So do you think you should be a part of the reparations.
Yeah, yeah. Did you know that a lot of white people in England were enslaved by the Barbary pirates in the North
What
Africa?
color were they?
They were Muslim. They were sort of from North Africa.
Did I know that? No.
The point I'm making, I suppose, is that every group throughout history has had some kind of enslavement or discrimination or problems, and it's sort of, where does it end?
So, because in the 1200s you were enslaved,
Yeah.
and evidently you recovered, now where's my recovery?
People are here that are suffering. They have no place to go back to. If I had somewhere to go back to and leave America, I would leave tomorrow. Everyone else in this country can. Chinese can go back to China. Arabic can go back to Arabia. I have nowhere to go back to.
One of the things that they're looking into in San Francisco is paying black families or black people $5 million each as slavery reparations.
Wow.
I don't know if you've heard of this story.
No, I have not.
What do you think?
That very hard to believe, but that would be amazing. Even if I wasn't black, I wouldn't mind paying for a mistake that happened years ago, you know, because it's the right thing to do.
So if you were white, you wouldn't mind paying for the reparations?
No.
Do you think that maybe you should pay the reparations money?
Well, I mean, it's a really good question, but no, I don't, because I don't feel like I or my family had anything to do with that.
Do you think that San Francisco is a racist city?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What kind of experiences have you had as a black woman in San Francisco? What have you experienced?
Personally, I can't say that I've had any person-to-person racism. I haven't had that. Systematically, yes.
To find out more about the reparations proposals, I met up with Nicole Cunningham, a member of San Francisco's 15-person committee investigating how to make the policy work.
Hi! How are you? I'm doing fantastic. I'm Nicole. I'm on a reparations committee. We go back. I used to be his kid's teacher. I'm dead.
What we did, we taken all the civil rights leaders and we made them out of kids. And we put storylines on it. Now, just give me that poster. That poster is good. So we put storylines and it's called Someday. Right? Think I'm going to get a little bit of that reparation money?
Wow. We all gonna get a piece of that pie.
You sure?
You know what? I'm standing firm in belief that we are.
Okay, you sure? You sure?
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
I can't say after because I'm not a decision maker.
Well,
but
it sounds like you don't believe that you might get these reparations.
Oh, you know what? I believe in God. You understand what I'm saying? So if it's meant to be, God is going to make it happen for the believers.
would you like to give your input on reparations in San Francisco? Want to give us your 2 cents?
I mean, I supported the state reparations task force, and we're going to be taking that up at the state level last year, and it's a super important issue to make good on the harm that was done.
Do you think the city can afford it?
Thank you. I think it's incredible. I think it's incredibly important.
Can the city afford it?
Can the city? That's for the city to decide.
Right.
Okay. Budget. We'll be dealing with that at the state level.
Right.
In the state budget, so the city will make that decision.
Can the state afford it?
What?
Can the state afford it?
Can the state afford it? There's always a way to afford.
There you go. There's always the way.
We do have a pretty disastrous budget right now, so but that will shift over time. There's good
So it will
budgets and bad. I can only speak for me. I can't speak for the 119 other legislators, but I'm supportive of reparations.
Okay. Thank you so much. My 2 cents that I added, which is find the money. Money was sent to Ukraine. No one asked us, hey, Nicole, can we send this money to Ukraine? They just found the money and sent it. I said, what are the things that are necessary? What are people absolutely using in San Francisco that's a must? Water, garbage, internet, cable. You adding even 5 cents to these things, you have millions and millions, if not billions of dollars. Who's going to say, I'm not going to give those people reparations, I'm going to turn my water off? No one. Middle school started. This middle school. All right, you see the heat? You feel that heat? We just walked through the heat.
So you've got a son, he's 19 years old, and you said he's, just tell me about him. What's he doing?
My son is Emmanuel Laurie. He goes by Manny.
Manny.
And he's non-binary, but he will totally answer to he, she, or they. But I knew he was going to be part of the LGBTQ community when he was 2 years old. He just had certain mannerisms. I forced my kids, my son, because he's still 19, but we do energy healing therapy, which actually breaks up with trauma therapy is what it's called. An astrologist in our first meeting, she said to me, was your mom dead? Or is your mom dead, or was she dead or absent? And I was like, no, I was raised with her. But what she got, she said, your mom is a black hole to me. She's a black hole. She's not lying.
What do you say to the opponents of the reparations who say, well, actually, in San Francisco, we never had slavery. In California, there never was slavery. So reparations for slavery here in San Francisco seems a bit strange.
There's a lot of policy still today, right? Right now, me having to sue and spend my own money to sue my employer because I was disabled. And don't think the overtone is not racism. Mine just happened to be a disability discrimination, but this absolutely comes from the top of white people. This is because the white supremacy is ingrained in the DNA in this country and definitely in this city. And not to mention, my supervisor was black. They will use black people to harm black people. That in itself is priceless and unbelievable.
When I say straight white man, what do you think? What comes to mind?
Straight white man, privileged.
Privilege.
And even though he's privileged, he has a lot of shit wrong. And I say that because even straight white men are abusive. Straight white men are serial killers. They have the most, I watch these shows, the most serial killers. Straight white men are the ones who are shooting up schools, right? So they're a danger to society. Not all of them. A lot of
not all of them.
No, I cannot say all for anybody. But a lot of straight white men are mentally ill in a way that I would never want to be a mother of my children, and my children went and took a gun that I gave them at 18 and killed up his friends.
Not everyone agrees with reparations. To discuss an alternative view, I sat down with the academic and former member of President Trump's 1776 Commission, Dr. Carol Swain. Do you think that it's quite divisive asking for reparations from one group to hand it to another group?
Asking for reparations at this moment in American history when so many Americans are suffering, I cannot think of a worse time to be stirring the pot of racial conflict. And we already have increased hatred against white people and Asians that I believe is fueled by this whole aggressive movement that seems to blame other people for decisions that people make on their own.
Some people say this is about righting the wrongs of slavery. This is about helping black people because the legacy of slavery is still prevalent today. What do you make of that argument?
I would say that trillions of dollars have been spent to try to address the past and present effects of discrimination against blacks. And the money that has been spent ever since emancipation has improved the lives of some, but in many cases, it's not reached the poorest of the poor. I have no confidence that any type of reparations paid out under the circumstances to the people that are running the show would make a difference in the lives of average people, and it would probably make them worse off. It's always about creating conflict and finding some way to feather their own nest.
Tom Del Beccaro has lived in the San Francisco Bay Area for some decades. A former chairman of the California Republicans, he is now a commentator and an author. I caught up with him to find out how the city has changed in recent years. San Francisco is an iconic city, and yet today you can look at it and you can just see hundreds of homeless people shooting up drugs, crime obviously skyrocketing. Can you maybe talk a bit about San Francisco's rise and then its fall?
I remember the first time I traveled abroad and I told people I lived outside of San Francisco, and they looked at me as if I came from the Holy Land. And as with other places in history that get really rich, you have politicians who come in and think we need to redistribute things instead of ensuring people get jobs. California and San Francisco over the last 70 years have moved from what was this business opportunity state to this, what I call a social justice state. They've run up huge deficits. They run up huge spending bills. They concentrate on what makes politicians feel good about buying votes instead of the people's actual lives. So it was a great place, but it is now a perfect example of how bad government policies can ruin a place. And now it's more known for its homelessness and people leaving the state than for its industry like Hollywood and tech.
My cameraman and I decided to see the city for ourselves to investigate the extent of the homeless crisis. Yeah, how many in one day would you normally?
Oh, maybe 50 or more.
50 or more?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you see this? We have it 3 days.
That's 3 days worth.
5 days.
Yeah.
This is a lot.
After some time riding around the city's self-described transgender district, this happened.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Go, 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 go.
Go, 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 go.
Holy Holy
So we were just filming downtown in San Francisco, some of the worst areas with the homeless people, with people taking drugs, open air drug dealing in the streets. And I was in my car with my cameraman. And as you can see, they threw a bottle through the window of our car. For that, they were actually throwing, if you come around here, you can see a bit of some of the stuff they were throwing at us. So food, things like that, got all over my arm. And yeah, just a real shock. After our welcome in San Francisco, I wanted to find out how neighbouring Oakland was coping with similar issues. Oakland, unlike San Francisco, has a significant black population.
In this neighborhood, the Black Panthers were incubated.
I hooked up with a local community organiser and member of the NAACP, Seneca Scott, whose relatives include Martin Luther King Jr. Hello.
Good morning, Stephen.
Nice to meet you, Seneca.
Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Man.
Let's go in.
All right, watch your step. What would you like?
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
So you're a big fan of the Second Amendment?
I just like posting all the pictures of black guys back in the 70s with the guns. Malcolm X by the window with a two banana clips taped to each other. And the tools of those tactics being firearms. Legally owned firearms. As an American, I have a legal closet. This is Second Amendment. This is illegal. It's illegal. All of this shit is illegal. Couldn't have that. Everything's licensed.
Why do you like guns so much?
That's your last line of defense. Right now, we have a 19-minute wait if you call 911 before they pick up.
So you think the reparations that they're proposing is divisive and trying to make different groups go against each other?
The timing and everything about it right now is absolutely meant to divide them. So I'm going to show you something real quick. This is an infighting of a very tight-knit group that just went through hell, the Indian eviction moratorium that were affecting us all. You see this group?
Yeah.
This is that group that's talking. Asian, Latina, Black, white, very, very multiracial, all united. And we had a political fight, and I helped them organize it. We ended those moratoriums. And now all of a sudden this group is faction. Why? Reparations.
So you're basically saying this is an example of a group that was united behind something, but now has been divided by the reparations issue.
Very much so, because there are people here who feel like Asians have suffered, just an Asian lady.
Yeah.
So then now people are putting the oppression on them.
Because this is the point. Every group can say we've suffered some kind of abuse throughout history. I mean, even white people in England were enslaved.
What is the continuity of style? It's dangerous. It's slippery slope. But here's what I believe when I just say it here, because it's the easiest thing to get out. I do have a reparations policy that I think everyone can agree with. For the next 20 years or 30 years, if you're Black, and let's just say for simplicity's sake, we know what that means. You don't pay any taxes. No capital gains tax, no death tax. No, we can leave the sales tax out because it's too hard. Boom. Now, it's been said that there's no reparations without compensation. Okay, fine. Everybody gets $10,000. Who cares?
Can you understand why some people would still find that unacceptable? I mean, you're basically saying that certain groups are responsible for the actions of their ancestors. So they're having to, I mean, someone's got to pay for the taxes. Someone's got to pay for the $10,000.
No, you said the government's responsible. And you're making the government pay.
If I'm a poor white guy in a trailer park versus a rich Black guy who's been born into wealth, which there are many people, Black people who've been born into wealth. Yeah, exactly. And there's many white people who are poor, right? So if you suddenly see these rich Black people getting tax breaks, getting $10,000 each, and there's me and I'm getting nothing, can you see why why they would see that as being unfair?
Absolutely. But then when you talk to people today, they're going to say, I don't care. You've had all these opportunities. What have you been doing with them? So I'll tell you a story that I used to tell the young people to see if I could radicalize them in one story, because the power of narrative. Guys with a friend from college, and they went to an elite Ivy League school together. And one's Black and one's white. And the white guy from a very elite family. And they're out in this land of this ranch in Colorado, tens of thousands of acres. And they're eating and drinking some whiskey and having a cigar to sunsets around a fire. And he says, you know, it's one of the best days ever to his friend. The Black guy says to the white guy, he says, beautiful land. Where'd you get it? And guy says, oh man, my father left it to me. He said, that's pretty cool. Where'd he get it? He said, his grandfather left it to him. He's like, that's awesome. Where did he get it? And he just got swelled up with pride. And he was like, he fought for it. And the Black guy throws his drink down, stands up, looks him in the eye and says, I'll fight you for it right now. That's how you get reparation. Stop putting around and crying. They took something from you. You feel that way? Don't take it back.
So do you know anyone who's against the reparations?
That's Black.
Yeah.
No.
Seneca had set us up to speak with his friend Vincent, a campaigner who helps homeless people get off the streets.
Yo.
We met up in a communal farm Seneca had founded to feed locals in need.
Good to see you, man. So we're here to talk about Black reparations. I know you have an opinion.
So what's the crime like here in San Francisco and Oakland?
It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. I got shot in the head. I got shot in the head right here. They shot up my car 16 times.
So am I right in saying that you were once homeless?
For 26 years. I'm 35 today. I'll be 36 in October. And from 9 until October of 2021, I lived on these streets. If you look at me today, you wouldn't think that I was 9 years old out here eating out of trash cans, sleeping on bus stop benches, being raped, being locked in vans, being taken advantage of. You wouldn't imagine that to survive at 11 years old. I sold my body on the streets because I just wanted to stay warm.
How did you break out of this cycle?
People like Seneca, Black people who were willing to get honest about the Black experience, right? Not enable my BS and be willing to guide me with care and compassion. That's what got me comfortable into seeking mental health assistance.
Do you blame the progressive politicians for this homeless crisis?
I do. I definitely do. Not enough people are willing to be honest with themselves about this liberal-based agenda and what it's actually heading towards, how it's financially funded, what the incentives are to keep enabling people to live this kind of degradation.
One of those things those elected officials are proposing in San Francisco and across California is reparations for Black people, maybe $5 million per Black person.
If 4 years ago you would have given me $5 million, I would have smoked it up and I would have died on that pipe. I wouldn't have held on it to it for very long. I would have bought a bunch of random stuff that I don't even need. I would have sold it for dope. You're talking about giving a whole population more money than they know what to do with. And I understand some people feel like they deserve reparations, but maybe that could be done in a different fashion.
So this is better than it's been in a while, and that's not saying a lot considering the children have to still play here next to this. There were 60 encampments in 2018. There's like over 700 now.
Jesus. Wait, so
We're the promised land of milk and fentanyl.
how much trash was removed from here, you said?
700 tons.
How do the progressives view you? How do they look at you? Do they like you?
Oh no, they hate me. I'm Donald Trump, a president. They have Seneca derangement syndrome. They're crazy. There's a lot of boats. They're gonna find boats everywhere.
Why?
I don't know. They're still.
Jesus. How would you describe this place?
Our city has collapsed. We've lost rule of law. We have people in there who have no accountability to neighbors. They lie, they're corrupt, and they're bought and sold by the nonprofits who benefit from this stuff. This difference between San Francisco and here, San Francisco doesn't have that. They have more of the drugs and the crazies. We have more of the like this. You're gonna always find people muttering to themselves around Fentanyl Island and directing traffic.
So this is Fentanyl Island?
Yeah, right here.
Right here.
They call it that. My detective from OPD regularly finds, they regularly find bodies burned up in here. There's the bumper of a car sitting there by the playground. There's always a boat.
So drugs is a huge problem in Oakland.
Massive. Urban safari.
The modern progressives who run San Francisco are in stark contrast with their predecessors. Seneca was keen for us to meet one such old-school liberal, a local artist called Bruce, whose works have been on display around the world.
Hello, nice to meet you, Stephen.
Okay, Stephen,
How are you
where's the
doing?
pond?
The pond, well, that's a good question. The Atlantic, yeah.
Okay, so you're another limey.
Absolutely, I'm a limey. I'm from London. Wow.
I'm time here to get back to work.
Look at this. So this is all your work, Bruce?
This is all mine. In my studio, I designed and built this building. I moved to West Oakland in 1962. I'll show you what it looked like. That's what it looked like.
So this is just across the road?
Just right across. That's
Yeah.
the building right there.
Yeah.
Now there's trees and all, but it was empty. There were no doors and windows, no electricity, no plumbing. It's the first thing I got engaged with. The West Oakland had never had street lights. I don't mean there were old dim ones. There had never been street lights. And there's no question about why that was. It was because it's primarily black neighborhood. I found out that the electric company would pay for the installation of the lights if the city just paid the bill. And I had an intuition that that was the crack in the wall. That was early enough that there was real shame on the city's part, and we had street lights in 2 months.
Wow. So how do you feel about the community now? Because we just got driven around some of the areas and it looks exactly like this.
We've gotten to the point where there is a city council that is so far liberal that they have abandoned, in effect, the regular citizens. There's a sense on a certain number of voters that they feel bad about the homeless problem, and the approach of not enforcing the laws somehow makes them feel better, but it's a catastrophe. And so we end up with neighborhoods that are unlivable.
One of the proposals from the San Francisco city government is to give reparations to Black people.
I haven't heard any serious discussions of how you're going to determine who would get that and what would be effective. And how do you protect people who are not very sophisticated, who are suddenly going to get a whole bunch of money? I guarantee you that the people the furthest ahead on the planning on this are the criminals that are setting up scams. If you don't really think out these programs, they end up doing a great deal of damage.
America's long-fought civil rights battle was won by people like Bruce. Yet today, the Democrats seem determined to fight old fights as if nothing has changed since the days of the Jim Crow laws or even slavery. The reparations policy in San Francisco will almost certainly never happen, though it serves as a useful campaign strategy for local politicians who have abandoned the city to crime and drugs and instead prefer to focus on reopening past wounds.
E-O-L-I-O-T-T, Lewis, L-E-W-I-S. I'm co-chair of Tenderloin People's Congress. I've been living in San Francisco since 1985 and the Tenderloin since 2006. And ask away, sir.
First, I'd know what is reparations to you?
So reparations is trying to correct the past wrong. People of color, black people in particular, have been hurt by a system of built-in systematic racism. They've been discriminated against for housing, jobs, opportunities, bank loans, all kinds of things. It's at death through 1,001 cuts. There's deprivations and little decisions and two or three job applicants, but the black person doesn't get it, even though they might even be more qualified. All kinds of examples of how people have been hurt just because of their color and because of the prejudice of the person who's making the decision about allocating resources, be it a loan, a job, a housing opportunity. It is awful what has happened. And so reparations is trying to correct that past wrong. That's what it means to me. Trying to fix something that was provide help to people who were harmed in the past through racism.
So based on what you've seen in the meeting, do you think they are moving in the right direction, the wrong direction, or neutral at this point?
So just even talking about reparations is moving in the right direction, because this is a subject that has not been given a lot of public discussion and conversation. We're in a world with a lot of problems. We live in a divided country, left versus right, Democrat versus Republican. We have an environment that's failing us. We have an economy that's actually doing okay, thank God. But everything else is going to hell. And so people aren't talking about reparations. They are talking about it here, but not in the bigger civic conversation. So the fact that it's even being talked about is moving in the right direction. And in this meeting tonight, we saw in the list pasted on the wall, hundreds of suggestions about things that could be done to help black businesses or provide educational assistance or direct payments. And any one of them would be helpful. Any one of those 100 suggestions would be helpful. So just talking about it is the next step. And whether it's deciding about what specific reparations to be given is almost less important than actually deciding we're going to do something. And maybe we'll pick the dollar amount later or the type of benefit later. Maybe it's a scholarship. Maybe it's a loan to a small business. Maybe it is waiving city permit fees for maybe a black-run construction project. It could be any of those things, but is the important beginning.
Today's live stream is being brought to you by Clarity Media. Support the San Francisco Dreamkeeper Initiative, recognizing and investing in the diverse Black and African American communities of San Francisco with a wide range of programs to support youth, families, seniors, and members of the Black LGBTQ+ communities. Dreamkeeper San Francisco is fostering hope for generations of Black people to feel free to dream boldly. Visit dreamkeepersf.org today. Tune in weekdays to the Bay Area Mental Health Hour on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. You'll find us covering issues surrounding your everyday coping skills and your mental health and wellness. And remember, your mental health matters as much as your physical health.
If you'd like to be a guest or suggest show ideas, drop us an email or a direct message. We'd love to hear from you. Clarity Media, human stories, grassroots solutions. Subscribe, like, follow, and share. The Bay Area Mental Health Hour, Clarity Conversations, and We the People. Building trust for the first time. Out of chaos comes clarity. Clarity Media.
Rock with a few, drip lit like a spotlight. Just winning, media life spinning, media life spinning. Change that though. Clarity, hey, listen. Clarity Media, clarity. Hey, listen up. Black people. Ice Clean, Smith & Wesson Beam is a media theme. Clarity inspiring, requirements never tiring. Laundry list you never miss, no wishing. Best media on display. Problem solved out the way. Magnitude, Godzilla. Selling more power than Jay Thriller. Getting backlash, cash stash so we can grow. Clear out on the air, you better go. Ancestors need us to be bold. Smart enough to live another day. Get it right. Solving problems quick without non-descendants up in our mix. Race soldiers getting help. Turning backs and watch and let you shoot. Clarity, bright, speaking truth. No help, have to help ourselves. Raise up if not for nothing else. T-technical, scientific, qualified. Always with it, come through, rock with a few. Drip lit, like a spotlight. Just winning, media life spinning. Media life spinning. Media life spinning. Just winning, media life spinning. Enemies outside, enemies within. We gotta stop it. Know it's a profit. Burden heavy, broken levy. Meant to youth, now and forever. Politics is what she's speaking. Good mental health needed. Lift each other, don't trip. If your brother slip, extend grip. Make cash flip, pay each other. That's a good look, need each other. Deep inside, it's survival. Jump in together, no rifle. All the content's original. If you hear it, listen and share it all. Then you should have played with all your heart. Clara sticks it to him like a dart. And have the aim of archery to mark. Melanin made them all envy. Experimenting, cause they saw many blow by a NASCAR race. Nah, better space boost pace. Yeah. Nah, better space, boost pace, boy. Just winning. Media life spinning. Media life spinning. Media life spinning. Just winning. Media life spinning.